My boyfriend never bothered telling me when he'd be home. He'd just show up randomly after work, after hanging out with friends, after whatever he felt like doing. I'd ask him for a simple heads up so I could plan dinner or make sure I was around, but he'd always brush me off, saying he didn't want to feel controlled or tied down. This went on for months. I'd cook dinner only to have it go cold because he strolled in 3 hours late. I'd make plans with friends and then cancel at the last minute because he decided he wanted to hang out. He'd promised to be home at 7 and I'd see him roll in at midnight, smelling like beer, acting like nothing happened. I tried talking to him nicely, explaining that it wasn't about control, just basic respect. He'd get defensive and call me clingy or say his schedule was unpredictable. Meanwhile, I'd be sitting at home like an idiot, waiting around for someone who couldn't even send a quick text. The breaking point was my birthday. He promised he'd be home early so we could go out to a nice dinner. I got all dressed up, did my hair, the whole thing. 6 passed. Sassy 8. I called and texted with no response. Finally, at 9:30, he texted casually, "At a bar with the guys, won't be home till late." No apology, no acknowledgement that he'd ruined my evening. I was furious. That's when I decided to give him a taste of his own medicine. If he wanted to play games with communication, I could play too. The next week, when he asked about dinner, I shrugged. Not sure yet. When he got home expecting a meal, I was gone, out having dinner with my sister. Not back until nearly midnight. He was livid, asking where I'd been and why I didn't tell him. I just shrugged and said my schedule was unpredictable. Then I kept it up. I made plans without telling him, stayed out late, ignored texts, and was vague about weekend plans. If he wanted to hang out, I said maybe and made other arrangements. Soon he was constantly frustrated, complaining he never knew where I was or when I'd be home. Irony completely lost on him. One night, he even had the nerve to say I was being inconsiderate for not keeping him in the loop. I laughed in his face. "This is exactly what you've been doing to me for months," I said. "This is how it feels to never know when someone's coming home, to have your plans ruined, to feel like a text is too much to ask for." He tried to argue it was different because he had work and guy time. I shut that down fast. I had work, friends, and a life too. A life that didn't revolve around waiting for him to show up whenever he felt like it. 2 weeks later, he had a work event and expected me to go. Instead of asking politely or giving me notice, he assumed I'd drop everything. The morning of, he casually said over coffee, "We need to leave at 6 while you dress." Nicely. I looked at him like he was insane and told him I already had plans. He completely lost it, yelling that I was petty, vindictive, and trying to sabotage his career. That was it for me. I told him he was right, I was petty, but maybe now he understood what it felt like to be with someone who had zero consideration for your time. I broke up with him that night, done with dating someone who thought basic communication was too much effort. He tried promising he'd change, but I wasn't sticking around to find out.